So last week we did the P&L and balance sheet. Then we did ratios. Then we discussed about working capital. Hope everyone can remember this because we need to do a project proposal, and in that we need to do all these workings. Like we have to project a P&L, balance sheet, cash flows, then do the ratio analysis. Then you will have to do the investment appraisal as well, right? That is your project and the education side. But this is very important when you are analyzing a SME business, because in a SME business they may bring you details, they may give you the financial statements, or they may not give you a financial statement. There will be only supporting documents where you will have to work out. So if they give you a financial statement, you should be able to analyze that and see what are the strengths and weaknesses of the business. Whereas if they don't give you the financial statements, you should be able to construct the financial statements, right? In order to have an idea about the strengths and weaknesses of the business and the management, right? So that is the importance of financial analysis in the SME subject, right? So today I will be discussing with you 4 things most probably, otherwise three things will be discussed. We will start with break-even analysis, then we will go to investment appraisal, where we will look at the payback period, NPV, net present value, and IRR, right? So let me start with break-even analysis. Right? You can see the board properly, right? Chat box is open. If you have any questions, please let me know. Break-even analysis. What is break-even analysis? It is the analysis in relationship between the volume, change in volume, and change in revenue, cost, and profit, right? It is an analysis between the link between the volume, revenue, cost, and profit, right? So what is break even? Break even is the revenue we generate will be equal to the cost associated with generating that revenue. The point at which the revenue generated equals the cost associated with generating that revenue. That is break even. Or you can say it as like this: revenue, the point at which no profit, no loss situation occurs. Point at which no loss, no profit position occurs. With that, let me go back to a P&L. Right? But how do we write the P&L? Revenue, right? Then we have direct cost. Then we come to gross profit. Then we have OS, right? Within the OS, we can put the interest and depreciation for items, right? So O will go on the normal traditional P&L. OX, then you have PBIT, interest, depreciation, then operating profit, then other income, then net profit, right? So if you bundle all these together, you can go for overhead alone and straight away to net profit. Is the board visible to you? Can someone tell me?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So this is the P&L, right? If you break out this little bit further, Q quantity into price. This is turnover. Then we have this one, variable cost. Then all these things are fixed costs. Then you have the profit. Right? We say PRO, profit. Right? You have revenue. Revenue equals price into quantity. Then variable cost. Then fixed cost. Then profit. Right? So what is variable cost? Variable cost is the cost related to the change of units. The cost associated with producing one additional unit. Right? If I am producing 100,000 pens, my variable cost would be, if it is capital X, per unit it is 100,000. Right? If it is I am producing 150,000, then my cost will be this into 150. Right? That means variable cost is associated directly with the quantity. Variable cost is the cost which changes with the production or number of units you produce. That is quantity. Right? Fixed cost. What is fixed cost? Fixed cost is the cost does not associated with the quantity you produce. Whether you produce or not, whether you sell or not, you have to incur the cost which you need to incur irrespective of the production, like general managers or the manager's salary, rent expenses, security expenses, all those things, whether you have closed the factory or not, you have to pay. Right? So those are fixed costs. Right? So this is the vertical form of your PL. Let me write it across or horizontal, which is equal to revenue equals variable cost plus fixed cost plus profit. Right? You add variable cost, fixed cost, then profit. Right? Turnover minus variable cost, fixed cost equals profit. Right? So if I write, it is like revenue minus variable cost minus fixed cost equals profit. Right? This is the normal PL, horizontal. So I have taken variable cost and fixed cost to this side. Profit. Right? So we have revenue is equal to price into quantity. Okay. Variable cost is equal to quantity into variable cost per unit. Alright? That is this. If your total variable cost, this is equal to X. If you have produced 100,000, X divided by 100,000 is the variable cost per quantity. Right? Per unit, what is the variable cost? What is the variable cost to produce 1 pen? What is the variable cost to produce 1 pen? Right? Then we have fixed cost. Then we have profit. Right? So you can bring this one to the other side of the equation. So you can write price quantity minus quantity variable cost, variable cost per quantity equals fixed cost plus profit. Right? That is the equation again. Now, for these items, this is common. So you can take out Q into price minus variable cost per quantity equals fixed cost plus profit. Right? So you can write the equation quantity equals fixed cost plus profit divided by price minus variable cost per quantity. Right? This is one equation you need to know. Right? Then this one I'm writing here price into variable cost per quantity. If I am selling a pen for 100 rupees and I need to spend 75 rupees for the production, once you reduce from the price, if you reduce the variable cost per quantity, it is 25 rupees. This is called contribution. Contribution per unit. Right? Contribution. That means what is the money each unit will produce towards the settlement of fixed cost and profit. Because by this, before contribution, we have cleared all the variable cost. Price minus variable cost per unit is contribution. Contribution means what is the quantum of money each unit produce will use towards the settlement of fixed cost and creation of profit. Right? That is called contribution. So I discussed few things. Variable cost, then I discussed fixed cost, then I discussed the point variable cost per unit. That is the cost we have to incur to manufacture one additional unit. Right? That is the cost we have to incur to manufacture one additional unit. Right? Fixed cost is the cost we have to incur irrespective of the quantity you produce. Right? So when you solve this revenue or the P&L, horizontal P&L, you get this equation. Right? I'm going to erase this part. This is little mathematical. So now you have something called quantity, fixed cost plus profit divided by price minus variable cost per unit. Right? One minute. Variable cost per unit. This is the equation to understand the number of units we sell. Right? We have an assumption. Quantity produced equals quantity sold. Whatever we produce, we sell. Right? That is the assumption. Right? So, under break even. What is break even? Revenue equals the cost associated with generating that revenue. Right? Or no profit, no loss position. That means at the break even point, profit is 0. And then we can write quantity break even equals fixed cost divided by price minus variable cost per quantity, which is the contribution. This is your break even quantity formula. Okay, this is the break even quantity. This is the formula we derive from the P&L. The quantity you sell will decide the ability to service the fixed cost plus generate a profit. Right? So price minus variable cost per unit. What is the amount of money we generate towards settlement of fixed cost and profit, generation of profit. Right? So at the break-even point, we don't have any profit or any loss. Zero loss, zero profit. That is, we have covered all the expenses in relation to generating revenue. The point at which the revenue generated equals the cost associated with generating that revenue. That is break-even point. Right? So profit is 0 here. Right? Then break-even quantity be fixed cost divided by price minus variable cost per quantity. Right? This is the formula. Right? Please write it down. It is there in your handout as well. If you want, you can write it down. And ask me any place where it is not clear for you. They have uploaded, Madhuvanti, because I checked with Menaka last time also.
It's there, sir.
Okay.
It's uploaded.
Right. If you are finished and if you are clear, I can go to other part. Once you are finished, let me know. Please let me know once you are finished. Though it is given in the handout, it is better to write it in your own handwriting. Then it goes to your brain easily. Can I proceed? Okay. Right? Start erasing from this side. So we have quantity equals fixed cost plus profit divided by price minus variable quantity cost per quantity is the equation when we are talking about break even. This is 0 at break even, right? So this is the equation. So revenue, direct cost, or variable cost, gross profit, then we have overheads, net profit, right? Variable cost plus fixed cost, we turn as total cost. That's the total cost we have to incur, right? If we show it on a graphical form, right? This is the quantity. This is rupee. Variable cost goes like this. Right? That means zero production. Again, assumption is quantity produced equals quantity sold, right? Assumption. Okay. So 0 units produced, 0 cost. 1 unit produced, smaller cost. Second unit produced, cost increases. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, like that, cost increases. This side. Okay. With the quantity, cost increases. That's why it's called variable cost. This is variable cost. Right? Then we have fixed cost. Fixed cost. Whether you produce 0 units, still you have to incur this. 2 units, same cost. 3 units, same cost. 10 units, same cost. 100 units, same cost. So this is fixed cost. You have to incur that. So when we are talking about total cost, which is equal to variable cost plus fixed cost, right? So this is the fixed cost part. Fixed cost for 1 unit, variable cost is A. Okay? So fixed cost plus A. 2 units, B. Like that, you have to add it up. So if instead of writing 2 lines like this, if we shift this one towards this, this is total cost. See, earlier fixed cost was this much and unit cost was this much. Similarly, now on top of the fixed cost, you have the variable cost. This variable cost equals this. This variable cost equals to this difference. This is allowed in mathematics. You shift the origin of a graph, right? This line is parallel to this line, right? So whatever on this, it is the total cost line. You have the fixed cost which does not change with the production. Variable cost which changes with production. Fixed cost plus variable cost is the total cost. This is the total cost you need to incur. 0 production, you need only fixed cost to be incurred. This one, it is fixed cost plus A. This one, fixed cost plus B. Like that, you start incurring cost. So this is the total cost line. Then we have total revenue. Not total revenue, it is the revenue line. Right? Price into quantity. Right? This is revenue line. Right? Revenue line is this. Because revenue equals price into quantity. Quantity this side, value this side. Right? So when you start small, you are below the total cost, you have a loss. Second unit you sell, your loss comes down. Third unit, loss comes down. Fourth unit, loss comes down. Fifth unit, loss comes down. Gradually, when the quantity you sell increases, your loss start narrowing down. See, up to this point. This is the intersection point of the revenue line and the total cost line. That means loss or profit equal 0. Up to this point, you have losses. Whatever you produce, you will make a loss because your revenue generation is smaller. This is the revenue generation. But your cost is this entire portion. Right? When you are increasing the quantity, your revenue increases. Q1 into price, Q2, like that, you increases your revenue. So your loss-making position narrows down. At the intersection point, you will absorb all the expenses and you will not make any loss. So zero loss, zero profit position, that quantity is called break-even quantity. Or this side, you will say this is the turnover break-even sales. Right? So when you pass the break-even point, you start earning profit. Your revenue line is higher than the total cost line. Right? Revenue line is higher. This is not L, this is C. Right? Revenue line is higher than the cost line. See? When it comes here, you have a revenue of this much, but your cost is less than revenue. Okay? So from here onward, you start producing profits. Okay? So this is the break-even graph. Earlier what I did was the break-even equation. This is the graphical form of break-even. You have your variable cost, you have your fixed cost. Variable cost plus fixed cost is equal to total cost. This is your total cost line. Revenue equals turnover equals price into quantity. One same price, Q1, Q2, Q3, like that. You increase the number of quantity, so your revenue line becomes this. So when you are increasing the number of production, your loss-making position also reduces. At the beginning, there is a big loss. Why? You have a huge fixed cost on top of the variable cost. Right? Like that, it comes gradually. So there will be a point on this graph where total cost line crosses the total revenue line. That at that point, no loss, no profit, which is the break-even point. So if you put a drop here, you have a break-even quantity. Why? This is quantity excess. This is rupee excess. So value excess. So you have the sales value and break-even quantity. You cross the break-even quantity, you will start generating profit. Right? You will start generating profit. Then whenever you have a target sale or target turnover or budgeted turnover or actual, like we say, our actual turnover is this. This is your actual turnover. Turnover actual. This is your turnover break even. Difference between turnover actual and turnover break even is called margin of safety. Margin of safety. That means what is the drop we can take on the revenue generation without creating a loss. The difference between actual or budgeted turnover level and the break-even level. So you can bring down your operation levels until this point. Right? We will not make any loss. We say we have budgeted 5,000 units should be sold. Your break-even is 4,000. Due to any uncertainty, if your sales drop to up to around 4,001 unit, you will not make any loss. You will make slight profit. 4,000, you will make only no loss, no profit. You cover all your expenses, but you will not make profit. So still you are safe. If your sales drop till the break-even sales, you are safe because you are not making any loss. At the time you start making a loss, you will have issues. Right? So the difference between actual or budgeted sales and the break-even sales is called margin of safety. Or actual or budgeted quantity you sold and the break-even quantity is called margin of safety. That is the drop we can take from the actual or budgeted sale or the actual or budgeted quantity till the break-even sale or break-even quantity, right? Without making a loss in the company. So this is the break-even graph. I introduce another term called margin of safety. Right? Just go through the graph and try to replicate the graph. If you need any assistance, please let me know again. And when you are finished, let me know.
Sir,
Yes.
can I ask one question?
Yes, yes.
This is actually when in the bank when we are determining the pawning prices, is this the way how they all are calculating margin of safety and all? Because
No, that is based on the market prices too.
market price and LTV
Yeah,
also.
loan to value ratio.
Oh,
Yeah, this is purely on the production side.
right. Okay.
Right?
Not
Pawning, what we do, we
okay.
get the market price, current market price. Based on the
Okay.
history of the pricing, we will decide what is the maximum amount we will give. So that is the margin of safety we have.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Um, Have we finished? What about others? Right. Eight people have said okay, finish. Let us go to the handout now. Right. Break-even analysis. Break-even analysis is the short-run relationship between changes in volume and changes in revenue, expenses, and profit. This is what I told you. And also known as CVP, cost, volume, profit analysis. This is the definition which I discussed. The analysis to determine the point at which revenue received equals the cost associated with receiving the revenue. The point at which revenue received equals the cost associated with receiving the revenue. That means no loss, no profit point. Then we go to margin of safety. The amount that revenues exceeds the break-even point. That is the amount that revenue can fall while still staying above the break-even point. That means margin of safety is the amount of revenue that exceeds the break-even point. That means you can drop the revenue till the break-even point without an issue. Use of break-even analysis. It is a short-term planning tool because we are talking about the revenue, profit, revenue, cost, and volumes. Right? It looks at the relationship between revenue, output levels, cost, and profit. This is the decisions we can take with break-even. How many units must be sold to break-even? That means when we are starting the production, we should know, okay, I need to produce and sell 10,000 units of pen if I am not to make any loss. Loss making means you are eroding your capital, you are eroding your money invested in the business. How many units must be sold to achieve a target profit? Right? See this one. You can see the board. This one. What is the quantity? I need 100,000 rupee profit. Right? So then my earlier question was how much I need to sell in order to in order to avoid any losses. It may not be profits, may no loss. This is 0. Then it is break even. Now I'm going beyond it. I want to know, I need 100,000 profit. What is the number of units I need to sell in order to generate 100,000 profit? So we consider this profit element also as a fixed cost. Fixed cost plus profit. This is also fixed cost 1. This is fixed cost 1. This is fixed cost 2. So fixed cost equals fixed cost 1 plus fixed cost 2. Fixed cost 2 is the profit. We consider profit also as a fixed cost in this scenario. What is the number of units we need to sell in order to generate a target profit? So we consider profit also as a part of cost and do the calculation, right? So break-even analysis, this formula is used for that as well. Right? How many units must be sold to break even? How many units must be sold to achieve a target profit? Should a special order be accepted? Why? Because if we accept the special order, we may go down on our profits or we increase our profit based on the contribution price minus variable cost per unit. If I don't have a big contribution, overhead added up, you may make a loss. So whether this is profitable or not, should a special order be accepted? How will profits be affected if we introduce new products? Again, always, whether it is products or special products, you have a fixed cost, you have a variable cost. So you need to cover your variable cost and you need to cover your fixed cost. Then only you will accumulate profit, right? Break-even point, the point at which company makes neither a profit nor a loss, right? Contribution per unit, as I said earlier, the sales price minus the variable cost per unit. It measures the contribution made by each item of output to the fixed cost and profit. Contribution made by each item you sell to cover the fixed cost and the profit. Then margin of safety terminology means which the budgeted volume of the sales is compared with the volume of sales required to break even. That's what I told. Variable cost, cost of producing one extra unit of output. Fixed cost, cost incurred in businesses irrespective of changes to the production of the unit. This all I told earlier. This is the equation I started with, right? Fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. Contribution is selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. Then this is the diagram I drew on the board. You have I have removed the variable cost line, which should be a parallel line to this from this origin. Variable fixed cost. Then we have total revenue, total cost. Then you have the revenue line. So prior to this point, all losses. After that, it is all profit, right? So this point is called the break-even point, point at which no loss, no profit situation occurs. Margin of safety, the difference between budgeted or actual sales and the break-even point. Break-even point means break-even sales. The margin of safety may express in units or revenue. Margin of safety in turnover or number of units to be sold. shows the amount by which the sales can drop before loss will be occurred. Right. Let us do this calculation. Right. We will have two calculations. Work out this. Using the following data, calculate the break-even point and margin of safety in units. Selling price P equals 50, VCQ equals 40, VC is equal to 7,000. Budgeted sales is 7,500 units. Please find out the break-even point. What is the quantity we need to break even, sell for break even, and the margin of safety.
Okay.
Yes.
Break-even sales is 7,000 units, and the margin of safety is 500 units.
Yeah, let everyone finish. Right. Right. So you finish and let me know. Two people has one spoke and one has Madhuvanti has sent text. So all others I need to work out. Everyone I need to work out. Right. All are getting the answer. So margin, if I to wrap it with mother tongue, margin of safety කියන්නේ අපි දැන් මෙතන ගන්නෙ නිෂ්පාදනයයි විකුණුමයි සමානයි කියලා හිතලා. මොකද සාමාන්‍යයෙන් නම් නිෂ්පාදනය කරන ඔක්කොම විකිනෙන්නේ නැහැ. ස්ටොක් එකක් ඉතුරු වෙනවා. ඒ වුණාට මෙතනදී assume කරනවා නිෂ්පාදනයයි විකුණුමයි සමානයි කියලා. ඒතර break even point එක කියන්නේ loss එකක්වත් profit එකක්වත් ඇති නොවන අවස්ථාව. No loss, no profit කියන තැන. එතකොට හැම යුනිට් එකක්ම අපි හදන හැම යුනිට් එකකින්ම පළවෙනියෙන්ම වෙන්නේ එයා හදන්න යන variable cost එක. විචල්්‍ය වියදම. ඒ කියන්නේ එක යුනිට් එකක් හදන්න යන වියදම. අපි ඒක කවර් කරගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඉතුරු වෙන ප්‍රමාණය තමයි අපිට අපේ කම්පැනි ෆික්ස් කොස්ට් එක. ඒ කියන්නේ සාවර වියදම් ටික කවර් කරන්න ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ. මොකද අපේ කම්පැනි අපේ බිස්නස් එකක වියදම් ජාති දෙකක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි නිෂ්පාදනයත් එක්ක වෙනස් වෙන වියදම. අනික එක නිෂ්පාදනය කළත් නැතත් අපිට දරන්න වෙන වියදම. එතකොට contribution කියන්නේ එක යුනිට් එකකින් අර නිෂ්පාදනය හා සම්බන්ධ නැති වියදම් පියවා ගැනීම සඳහා යන කොටස. right? break even point එක කියන්නේ කිසිම ලාභයක් හෝ අලාභයක් නැති අවස්ථාවේදී quantity එක කීයද sale එක කීයද කියන එක තමයි break even point එකෙන් කරන්නේ. ඒතර margin of safety කියලා කියන්නේ අපේ ඇත්තම නිෂ්පාදනය හෝ අලෙවියයි එහෙම නැත්නම් budgeted නිෂ්පාදනය හෝ අලෙවියයි break even point එකයි අතර තියෙන වෙනස. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට budgeted එක එහෙම නැත්නම් actual sale එක යම් ප්‍රමාණයකින් අඩු වුණත් loss එකක් create නොවන අවස්ථාවක් තමයි margin of safety කියලා කියන්නේ. එතකොට අපිට profit එකක් හදාගන්න ඕනේ නම් අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලම බැලුවේ loss එකක් නැති profit එකක් නැති අවස්ථාව break even කියලා. එතකොට fixed cost එක divide කරනවා බෙදනවා contribution price minus විකුණු මිලෙන් අපි එක යුනිට් එකක් හදන්න යන විචල්්‍ය වියදම අඩු කළාම තමයි contribution එන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට ඕනේ වුණොත් profit එකක් උපයන්න. අපි හිතනවා අපිට ලක්ෂයක මුදලක් ලාභයක් විදියට ඒකත් අපි consider කරන්නේ fixed cost එකක් විදියට. fixed cost එක divide කරනවා වගේම fixed cost plus profit කියන දෙකම එකතු කරලා මේ contribution එකෙන් බෙදුවාම තමයි අපිට ලාභයක් උපයන්නත් එක්කම කොච්චර මුදල් භාණ්ඩ ප්‍රමාණය විකුණන්න ඕනද කියලා එන්නේ. ඕක තමයි break even analysis එකේ දැන්ට අපි කතා කරන්නේ. ඒ ටික තමයි අපි කතා කරන්නේ. Right. So, මේක තමයි solution එක. ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරලා තිබ්බ හරියට 550 බෙදි අඩු කිරීම 4010යි 70,000 divided by 10 7,000 margin of safety 7,500 minus my break even point sales 7,500 units. Target profit මේක තමයි ඊළඟට මම කිව්වේ. But if a firm does not just want to break even, it requires a target profit. Contribution per unit will need to cover profit as fixed cost, as well as fixed cost. Required profit is treated as additional to fixed cost. This is what I told you. Right. Then we make a using the following data, calculate the level of sales required to generate profit. Right. Profit requirement is 10,000, selling price 35,000 rupees, variable cost 20, fixed cost 50. So work out this and let me know. I need a fixed cost of 50,000. I need profit of 10,000. Selling price is 35, variable cost is 20. Let me know what is the quantity you need to sell in order to achieve 10,000 profit. Madhwante Deshi. Thank you. Rasika. Yeah. About others. Only 8 people has answered. I will prefer others also. let's go to the handout again. Then the solution, we have 50%. Then we add the 10,000 profit requirement also to the fixed cost. Then contribution per unit, which is 35 minus 20, is 4,000. Limitations of break even. I never spoke to you about the demand, right? I was telling production equals sales. That means whatever we produce, we can sell. So it is only the supply side. Fixed cost, that is fixed. But variable cost also fixed, right? We don't consider economies of scale, efficiency, those things. I told you variable cost per unit. So when the number of units are increasing, your variable cost also comes down due to efficiency increasing. Production equals sales. Selling price remain constant. No change in the selling price. Efficiency remain unchanged. Volume is the only factor affecting the cost. Time value of money is not considered. Time value of money. Today rupee and tomorrow rupee. Is there a difference? That is not considered here. Right. Thank you. That's the end for break-even analysis. Right? Do you have any questions on this? This is a smaller part, break-even analysis. If you don't have any questions, I'll give you a break. 2:45, 46. We'll come by 3:05, 3:10 max. Right? Then we will start because I want to go the payback period, NPV and IRR at a stretch. Okay? So we'll break. Okay. මම භාෂා දෙකෙන්ම කතා කරන්නම් sorry හරි එතකොට දැන් අපි මොනවාද break even එක ගැන කතා කළා ඊට පස්සේ profit එකක් අවශ්‍ය නම් අපි ඒක cost එකක් විදිහට සලකලා යනවා කියලා කිව්වා ඊට පස්සේ අපේ මේක limitations break even point එක limitations තමයි අපි විකුණුම් පැත්ත නෙමෙයි නිෂ්පාදනයේ පැත්ත විතරයි අපි බලන්නේ. අපි නිෂ්පාදනය කරන සියලුම දේ විකුණ ගන්න පුළුවන් කියන assumption එකේ තමයි අපි යන්නේ. එතකොට cost එකේ වෙනසක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා අපි හිතන්නේ. අපිට efficiency වැඩි වුණාට units ගාන වැඩි වුණාට cost එක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා හිතලා තියෙන්නේ. cost එක එකම සමානයි. විකුණුම් එක තමයි ඒක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ කියලා. right ඒක තමයි අපේ limitation අපි අද රුපියලයි හෙට රුපියලයි දෙකම එකයි කියලා time value of money ඒක ගැන අපි හිතලා නැහැ ඒ විදිහට තමයි අපි කතා කරලා තියෙන්නේ ඉතින් දැන්ට අපි නවත්තමු එතනින් break even එක ඉවරයි දැන් 2.50යි 48යි බලමු 3යි 10 වෙනකොට දැන් 3යි 10 15 වෙනකොට එන්න ආපහු Right, let's start till others joining. අපි අද මේ වෙනකන් කතා කළේ break even point එක ගැන. break even point එක කියන්නේ unit එක business එකක නිෂ්පාදන විකුණනකොට අවම විකුණුම් තිබිය යුතු අවම විකුණුම් මොකද business එකක පාඩුවක් නොලබන්නත් ඒ කියන්නේ පාඩු නොවෙන්නත් profit නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඒ වුණාට පාඩුවක් නැත්තම් ඒ point එක තමයි safe point එක business එක මොකද පාඩුවක් වෙනවා කියන්නේ හැමතිස්සෙම බිස්නස් එකේ යොදවලා තියෙන මුදල් වලින් ඒ මුදල අඩු වෙනවා කියන එක. එතකොට break even point එක කියන්නේ බිස්නස් එකේ පාඩුවක්වත් ලාභයක්වත් නොලැබෙන නිෂ්පාදන හෝ විකුණුම් ප්‍රමාණය තමයි break even කියලා කියන්නේ. එතකොට අපිට loss එකකුත් නැහැ, profit එකකුත් නැහැ. හැබැයි අපේ සියලුම වියදම් ටික cover කරගෙන ඉවරයි. හරි. එතකොට මම අර graph එක කැන්දා. graph එකේ අපේ විචල්්‍ය වියදම් කියන්නේ නිෂ්පාදනයත් එක්ක වෙන වියදම් ටික, වෙනස් වෙන වියදම් ටික, සාවර වියදම් ඒ කියන්නේ නිෂ්පාදනයත් එක්ක වෙනස් නොවන වියදම් ටිකයි. ඒ ටික දෙකේම එකතුව තමයි total cost එක විදියට යන්නේ. සම්පූර්ණ cost එක විදියට යන්නේ. එතකොට ඒ graph එකේ මුළු වියදම සහ turnover lines දෙක කැපෙන point එක තමයි break even point එක කියලා ගන්නෙ. එතකොට equation එකක් විදියට ගත්තොත් quantity එක සමාන වෙනවා fixed cost එක එකතුව profit බෙදන්න ඕනේ variable price කියන්නේ විකුණුම් මුදල අඩු කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒකෙන් අඩු කරලා විචල්්‍ය වියදම per unit එක unit එකකට විචල්්‍ය වියදම. ඒක තමයි අපි contribution එක කියලා කියන්නේ. contribution එක කියන්නේ අපි එක item එක අපි හිතමු පෑනක් කියලා. ඒ පෑන වික්කහම අපිට අපේ ඒ පෑන් නිෂ්පාදනය කරන්න යන වියදම අතහැරියාම නිෂ්පාදනයට අදාළ නොවන වියදම් හා ලාභය සඳහා ලබා දිය හැකි මුදල් ප්‍රමාණය තමයි අපිට contribution per unit කියලා කියන්නේ. එතකොට ඊළඟට අපි බලන්න වෙනවා හරි ඒ කියන්නේ විකුණුමකදී ලාභයක් හෝ පාඩුවක් නොලබන අවස්ථාව break even. එතකොට අපිට යම් ලාභයක් උපයන්න ඕනේ. අපි තීරණයක් ගන්න ඕනේ. යම් ලාභයක් ඉපයීම සඳහා මම කොච්චරක් විකුණන්න ඕනේද කියලා. එතකොට අපි ලාභයත් ස්ථාවර වියදමක් විදියට හිතලා fixed cost එකටම ලාභයක් එකතු කරලා ඒක බෙදනවා අපේ contribution per unit කියන එකේ. හරි. එතකොට තමයි අපිට රුපියල් 10000ක ලාභයක් ලබා ගැනීම සඳහා කොච්චර මුදලක් කොච්චර පෑන් ගානක් විකුණිය යුතුද කියන එක තීරණය කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ margin of safety. margin of safety කියන්නේ අපේ ඇත්තටම විකුණු ප්‍රමාණයත් එහෙම නැත්නම් බජට් කරලා තියෙන ප්‍රමාණයත් break even එකත් අතර වෙනස. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට අපේ actual sale එක break even එකට වැඩි නම් හෝ budgeted sale එක break even එකට වැඩි නම් ඒක ටික ටික අඩු වුණත් අර break even point එකට වෙනකම්ම loss එකක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අන්නේ ඒ පරාසයට තමයි අපි margin of safety කියලා කියන්නේ. right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් මම ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් කියනකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝ තේරෙන්නේ නැති දේවල් තියෙනවා. ඒ වෙලාවට ටක් දාලා අහන්න ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. මට අද ටිකක් දිගටම ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් කියනවා නැත්නම් මම දෙකම mix කරලා කියන්න try කරනවා. right? okay, we have 18 people, 17. Okay, let's start. Then අපි යමු methods of investment appraisal. මොකද දැන් අපිට දැන් අපි break even analysis එක කළා. ඊළඟට බලන්නේ අපිට අපේ සල්ලි තියෙන්නේ limited ප්‍රමාණයක්. එතකොට ඒ සල්ලි අපිට projects දෙකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. එකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන් මං ගාව මිලියන 50ක් තියෙනවා. හරි ඉන්වෙස්ට් ගන්න මිලියන 50ක් තියෙනවා. මට එක්ක වතුර බෝතල් හදන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් පෑන් හදන්න. එතකොට මේ දෙකෙන් මොකද්ද මම හදන්නේ කියලා තීරණය කරන එක තමයි මේ investment appraisal කියලා කරන්නේ. Right? Like the capital I have is limited. So we say we have 50 million rupees in my hand. I have few projects. Like one project is to manufacture water bottles and the other project is to manufacture pens. The decision to take is whether I am interested of putting my money into the water bottle plant or to the manufacturer of pens, right? That evaluation, financial evaluation on that is the investment appraisal. What is the most profitable for me? That decision is investment appraisal. So there are 3 types of appraisals. There are several, but we are talking about 3, right? Firstly, payback period. Secondly, net present value. Thirdly, IRR, internal rate of return, right? Payback period එක අපිට මේ වගේ investment appraisal එකකදී අපි බලන්නේ අපේ මුදල ලබා ගන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේක profitable ද මේ business එකට මම යන්නේ කියලා. මොකද මගේ සල්ලි වලට වැඩිම ලාභයක්, වැඩිම return එකක් ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් business එකට තමයි මම සල්ලි යොදවන්නේ. හරි? එතකොට පළවෙනිම එක payback period. මට මගේ මුදල් ආපසු ලබා ගන්න කොච්චර කාලයක් යනවද? මම යොදවන මුදල මට ආපහු ලබා ගැනීම සඳහා කොච්චර කාලයක් යනවද කියන එක තමයි payback period calculation එකේදී කරන්නේ. What we do at the payback period calculation is how long it will take to recover my money. That's payback period. How long it will take to recover my money or my investment, right? So let us go down. Payback period, the length of time cash proceed to recover the initial capital expenditure. That is payback period. How long it will take for me to recover my money back. This is very layman term. It is very basic calculation, right? කොච්චර කාලයක් යනවද මට මම ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන අපිට මිලියන 10ක් ඉන්වෙස්ට් කළා නම් ඒ මිලියන 10 ආපහු ලබා ගන්න මට කොච්චර කාලයක් යනවද? If I invest 10 million, how long will it take for me to collect my 10 million rupees, right? That's the calculation. Then we have net present value. That is, we are talking about time value of money, because 1 rupee yesterday is not the same. It is same 1 rupee, but the purchasing power is different. So 1 rupee today and 1 rupee after 1 year is different. So that is time value of money. And net present value is I'm investing in one business 10 million rupees today. I will get different profits for the next 5 years. If I bring all those future cash flows to today's value and subtract the initial investment, that is net present value. We will discuss that. Then we have internal rate of return. That is the rate of return where net present value equals 0. Right? Rate of return where the net present value equal to 0. Right? Or that is the potential growth rate of a business. It has to be more than the cost of capital or more than the market cost, right? Higher the IRR, better the project. NPV, positive NPVs we take as acceptable, negative NPVs we reject. Payback period, shorter the period to recover my money, then that is the best project. Right? Payback period එක කියන්නේ අපේ යොදවන මුදල ආපහු ලබා ගන්න කොච්චර කාලයක් යනවද කියන එක. Net present value කියන්නේ අද රුපියලක වටිනාකම. රුපියලමයි හැමදාම. ඒ වුණාට අද රුපියලකින් කරන්න පුළුවන් එකයි තව අවුරුද්දකට පස්සේ රුපියලකින් කරන්න පුළුවන් එකයි අතර වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. Purchasing power එකේ වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට අපි ඒක තමයි time value of money කියන්නේ. Net present value කියන්නේ මට රුපියල් මිලියන 10ක් අද මම බිස්නස් එකට යොදවනවා. එන අවුරුද්දේ මිලියන 5ක ලාභයක් ලැබෙනවා ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ මිලියන 2ක ලාභයක් ලැබෙනවා. හැබැයි ඒ මිලියන 2 අද වැලියු එක කීයද කියලා හොයලා ඒ ටික ඔක්කොමගෙන්ම මම ඉනිෂියලි ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන එක අඩු කරන එක තමයි net present value කියලා කරන්නේ. එතකොට internal rate of return කියන්නේ මේ net present value NPV එක බිඳුව වෙන discounting rate එක තමයි IRR එහෙම නැත්නම් internal rate of return කියන්නේ business එක කොයි වගේද grow වෙන්නේ ඒක හැමතිස්සෙම අපේ cost of funds වලට වැඩි වෙන්න ඕනේ සහ අපි projects කීපයක් compare කරනවා නම් වැඩිම IRR value එක තියෙන එක තමයි අපි ගන්න. එතකොට net present value එකේදී positive net present value අපි බාර ගන්නවා හොඳයි කියලා. හැබැයි ඒකිනුත් වැඩිම net present value එක තියෙන එක තමයි අපි ලබා ගන්න. හොඳයි කියලා ගන්න. එතකොට payback period එකේදී නම් අපිට ඉක්මනටම අපේ මුදල ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් business එක තමයි අපි හොඳ business එකක් විදිහට සැලකන්නේ. මේවා තමයි අපි පාවිච්චි කරන වචන cost of capital ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට මුදල් යොදවනකොට යන වියදම අපිට මුදල් business එකට ගලා යාම සහ business එකේ එළියට යන ඒවා cash inflows and cash outflows present value අද දවසේ වටිනාකම net present value කියන්නේ ඉස්සරහට තියෙන ඒවා අදට ගෙනල්ලා අද වියදම සහ ඒවා ටික discounting factor කියන්නේ අපි discount කරන්න අපි net present value හොයාගන්න පාවිච්චි කරන factor එක. Right? We have cost of capital, which is the cost associated with raising capital. Cash inflows, these are the funds receiving into the business, and cash outflows are funds going out of the business. Then present value, the value of the future cash flows today. Net present value is today's investment and the difference between today's actual year zeros actual investment and the present values of future cash flows, right? Then discounting factor is the factor we use to discount the future cash flows, and those are the terminologies we will use. So this is the same thing. Under this method, the time taken to recover the capital investment is considered. Higher the rate of recovery, higher the attractiveness of a project. That's what I told next time on Q. Net present value under this method, future cash flows are discounted to year zero, this is today, and compare the discounted cash flows with initial investment required. If the difference is positive, project could be accepted. Positive na api baragan. Internal rate of it is the rate of return. It is the rate of return, or it can be said it is the rate at which the NPV of the cash flows of the project is zero, right? NPV is zero. IRR is used to evaluate the attractiveness of a project, right? We'll go with example, payback period. This is your example, right? That we have two projects. First year, we have to invest 100,000 both. Second year, cash inflows are 45,000, 30,000. For one project, it is project A 45, 40, 35, 50, and B 30, 30, 44, and 60. These are the cash inflows, right? This is not profit, this is cash inflows, right? Look at the board. like this. We have two projects, project A, project B, right? Initially, we need to invest 100,000. Right? This project also, you need to invest 100,000. Right? Then we call it year 0, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Similarly, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Right? Board diagram on, you can see the board. This is the project, right? Year 0, you have to invest 100,000. At the end of the year 1, you will get 45,000. Year 2, you will get 40, 35, and 50. Right? This one, year 0, similar investment. Investment need to be similar, and the lifetime of the project needs to be similar, right? If this is 10 years, normally we compare that kind of project, right? Year 1, 30, year 2, 30, year 4, 44, sorry, year 3, 44, year 4, 66. Right? So, what we are looking at here is which project will pay you your initial investment fastest. අපි මෙතන එන්නේ අවුරුදු ගානක් දාලා ඒ හැම අවුරුද්දේම අපි පළවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ ලක්ෂයක් වියදම් කරන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට 45000 40000 35000 එහෙම අපිට අවුරුද්ද ගානේ ප්‍රොෆිට් හම්බ වෙනවා. කැෂ් ඉන් එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා. හරි. ඒකට අපි බලන්නේ මොන ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකද අපිට අපේ මුලින්ම ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරපු රුපියල් ලක්ෂය ඉක්මනටම ගන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක මොකක්ද කියලා. So what we are looking at here is which project returns our money fastest, right? So we did A. Initially, we are investing 100,000. Year 1, I am getting 45,000. That means 100,000, I am getting 45,000. By the end of the year, I have to recover another 55,000. Year 2, I am getting 40,000 cash at the end of the year 2. Right? That means 15,000 negative. Right? End of the year 3, for the entire year 3, I will get 35,000. Right? So it is like this. I have the entire full year 1, this one. After the first year one, basically, I'm getting 45,000. End of the year 2, I'm getting 40,000. By this period, I have collected 85,000. Right? If I stay in the project for another full year, I will get 35,000. But my requirement is only 15,000 because 100,000 I invested, 85,000 I have collected by the end of the year 2. Now I have to recover only another 15,000, right? For 12 months, 1 year, I am getting 35,000. Sorry, I don't want that way. In order to get 35,000, I need to be in the project for 1 year. In order to get 1 rupee, 1 divided by 35,000. I need 15,000. So that means 1 divided by 35,000 into 15,000. These are basic mathematics. Right? In order to find out, we have full year, 1 year, how long it will take to recover my 15,000, which is the 15,000 deficit. What we do, the amount we require, 15,000, divided by the full year amount, 35,000. Right? That is this is equals to 0.43 years. You can see that, right? So, if you are working with project 1, if you invest in project 1, you need 2 years and 0.43 years. That means 2 years plus 0.43 years to recover your money, 2.4 years. Similarly, we will work on the project B. First year, you are getting, oh, sorry. Right? Now, similarly, you work out project B. Right? Project A එකේදී අපි පළවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ ලක්ෂයක් ඉන්වෙස්ට් කළා. එතකොට අවුරුද්දක් ඉවර වුණාම year 1 එකේ අන්තිමට අපිට 45000ක් හම්බ වෙනවා. එතකොට 45000ක් අවුරුද්දක් ගියාට පස්සේ හම්බ වෙනවා. එතකොට මම ලක්ෂයෙන් 45000ක් අඩු කළා. එතකොට 55000ක් තව මට එකතු කරගන්න තියෙනවා. year 2 එක ඉවර වෙනකොට 40,000ක් හම්බ වෙනවා තව. එතකොට 55 45 ගියාම තව 15ක් එකතු කරගන්න තියෙනවා. තුන්වෙනි අවුරුද්ද සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම මම මේ බිස්නස් එකේ හිටියොත් 35000ක් හම්බ වෙනවා. මට බලන්න ඕනේ 35000ක් හම්බෙන්න අවුරුද්දක් ඉන්න ඕනේ නම් 15000ක් ගන්න අවුරුද්දෙන් කොච්චර කාලයක් ඉන්න ඕනද කියලා. රුපියල් 35000ක් ගන්න එක අවුරුද්දක් ඉන්න ඕනේ. 1 රුපියලක් ගන්න එක බෙදීම 35000ක්. රුපියල් 15000ක් ගන්න මේක 15000න් වැඩි කළා මේක 15000න් වැඩි කළා 15000 බෙදීම 35000. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට ලබා ගන්න ඕනේ මුදල අපි ඒ අවුරුද්දටම ලැබෙන මුදලෙන් බෙදනවා. එහෙනම් බෙදුවාම 0.4යි 3ක් 2යි ගානක් වෙන්න 4යි 3ක් කියලා මම ගත්තා. ඒ කියන්නේ අවුරුදු 2යි 0.4යි 3ක් යනකොට මට මම ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරපු මුදල ලැබෙනවා කියන එක තමයි මේකේ තේරුම. right? දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ මේ දෙවනි ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් B එකට ගණන් හදලා මට කියන්න කොච්චර මුදලක් කොච්චර කාලයක් යනවද ඒකට අනුව සල්ලි හොයාගන්න කියලා. right? I want you to thank you Madhuvanti. Let all finish. I want you to look at the cash flow B and tell me what is the duration you need to recover your investment. Right? I will show you cash flow is here. Year 0 it is 100,000. Year 1 30. Year 2 30. Year 3 44. Year 4 66. I would like everyone to work because hands-on experience matters a lot. Mama clear නැත්නම් අහන්න. If I'm not clear, please ask me. Because we have time, I don't want to lose anyone and go forward because everyone needs to do the project. And after doing this course, you should be able to work freely in your business. Right? You need knowledge. We get people who says I am qualified in this, but when we ask a question, they don't know how to do it. Just pass papers, we did. Five people has given the answer. Yes, Sanjeeva. I'm waiting for 2 more. Then 50% of the class answered. Right. Right. So if we go to the handout, and this is the 2 cash flow A. It is 50, 50 by second year 15. So this one by second year in 40,000 between third year. So this is 1. 2.4 to 2.94. That means you are correct. So 2.9. First, if you invest in first project A, you will recover your money by 2 years and 43.43 years. Right? If you multiply it by 12, you get number of months. You multiply this by days, 0.43 multiplied by 12, you get months. 0.43 into 365, you get number of days, right? 2 years and 30 days, 2 years and 150 days, like that, right? Payback period 2, project 2B, it is 2 years 0.91. Third year again 0.91 now. So first year ke අවුරුදු 2යි තුන්වෙනි එකෙන් 0.43යි අනික එකේ අවුරුදු 2යි තුන්වෙනි අවුරුද්දෙන් 0.91යි. So ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ project A එකේදී අපිට ඉක්මනට සල්ලි හම්බ වෙනවා B එකට වැඩිය. So in this example, project A returns our money faster than project B. So our acceptance is to project A. So project A is the better. Which project is the better one based on payback period? Based on payback period, project A is the better one because it has the fastest returning time of the money. Right? These are the advantages and disadvantages. It is very simple. Right? You don't have to think. You just add up things. Objective using cash flow, because we didn't use any depreciation. So it is cash flow. Liquidity, commercially realistic. I am trying to get my money back. But the problem here is, we are not considering the entire life's cash flow. If we have a project where initial cash flows are small, but after some time you are getting lot of money, right? But we ignore that. We have 2 projects. We say first project is 20,000, 20,000, 30,000, 70,000, 80,000. Second project is 50,000, 40,000, 40,000, 10,000, 5,000. We will capture project B because project B has the highest. Look at the board. Right? We will change these 2 projects now. Right? This project is 40, 50, 40, 35. Right? After that, you have 20, 10. Sorry. After that, you have 60, 70, 80, right? So 50, 90, somewhere here you will recover, right? Sorry, we'll make this also 30, 70, 30. Somewhere here you will recover your money. This project we will change other way. 30, 30, 35, 40. $80, $80. Right? In this project, you will have to go up to somewhere here to recover. $20, $20. Right? So here what happens is 30, 60, 95. From here you are recovering. Okay? But this project you are recovering within the third year. This project you are recovering within the fifth year by 5. Okay? So A would be the better on this. But see, it is like this. After that it is small. So if you add up 80, if it is 30, 110, 170, 200 and 107, 290, 210. If you add up this one, 30, 30, 35, 95, 135, 80, 250 plus 85, 295. This entire project gives 295. This gives only 210. Still, we take this one because as per this method, fastest project which returns your money faster is the best project. We are not considering the entire life's cash. If it is after we have better money towards the end of the project, we may ignore that. See that happen? 295 if you take this project. This project will return you only 210. Right? So we are not considering the entire lifespan's cash. We are looking at the speed of returning our money. Right? මේක යටතේ අපි බලන්නේ අපේ සල්ලි කොච්චර ඉක්මනට අපිට ආපහු ගන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා විතරයි. අපි සල්ලි ටික ගත්තාට පස්සේ අපිට හම් වෙන කැෂ් ෆ්ලෝස් අපි අමතක කරලා දානවා. ඒතකොට ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්, දෙකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. එකක මුල් අවුරුදු වල ගොඩක් සල්ලි හම් වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ අඩු වෙලා යනවා. දෙවැනි එකේ මුල් අවුරුදු කීපේ පොඩියට සල්ලි හම්බෙලා ඊට පස්සේ ලොකුවට වැඩි වෙනවා. හරි? එතකොට අපි මේ ක්‍රමයේ යටතේ මුල් අවුරුදු වල වැඩියෙන් සල්ලි හම්බ වෙනවා කියන්නේ අපිට ඉක්මනටම සල්ලි ටික ආපස්සට ගන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට එතකොට ඒ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක තමයි තීරණය කරන්නේ. එහෙම නැතුව මුළු අවුරුදු ගානෙම සල්ලි ගැන හිතලා නෙමෙයි අපි තීරණයක් ගන්න. එතකොට ඒක අපිට ප්‍රශ්නයක් රිස්ක් එකක් ඒක. Ignore later cash. Disadvantages, project entire cash flows are not considered. Time value of money is not considered. අපි හෙට තියෙන සල්ලි අද තියෙන සල්ලි ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ තියෙන සල්ලි ඔක්කොම එකම වටිනාකම කියලා තමයි හිතන්නේ. අපි ගන්නෙ නැහැ අදට value එක කීයද කියලා. We are not considering time value of money. We think the value of money today, tomorrow and day after all are the same. So this is a very, very easy method of doing. right? It is very easy method of doing. So it is a very basic thing, but in our business, day-to-day business, we look at this. This is commercially viable projects, right? Then we'll go to time value of money. Hope you don't have any questions on this. ප්‍රශ්න මොකුත් තියෙනවද? මම අනික් එකට යන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා. Silence indicate no questions. But when we go to do the calculations, if you have issues, we have a problem, right? If you have any questions, please get it cleared before going. But this is very easy. Right? So I will go back to the board again. What is time value of money? Right? Last year, we could buy 5 kilos of rice for 1,000 rupees. But this year, we can't buy 5 kilos. We can buy only 4 kilos and half. Right? If someone tells you, I'll give you 1,000 rupees today, or you just wait, I will give you 1,002 after 2 years. It is better to take the 1,000 today than waiting for a year to get that 1,000. Because with time, the value of money comes down. Maybe the interest, maybe the inflation, those things are the reasons for that. අද මට හම්බෙන රුපියල් 1000යි අවුරුද්දකින් හම්බෙන 1000යි රුපියල් 50යි අතර ලොකු වෙනසක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද ඉන්ෆ්ලේෂන් එක, ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් රේට්ස් ඒව හන්දා අපිට මේ රුපියල් 1000න් අද කරන්න පුළුවන් දේ කරන්න 1000ක් නෙමෙයි 1200ක් විතර ඕනේ වෙයි. හරි ඒක තමයි කාලයත් එක්ක අපේ වැලියු එක වෙනස් වෙන එක තමයි time value of money කියලා කියන්නේ. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් අපි හිතමු අපි රුපියල් ලක්ෂයක ඩිපොසිට් එකක් දානවා. 110 පොලියට. එතකොට year 0 වලදී තමයි මේ ලක්ෂය අපි ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන්නේ. year 1 එකේදී මේක කොහොමද එන්නේ? ලක්ෂය තියෙනවා අපේ. ඒකට එකතු වෙනවා ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක. 10 ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක. ඒ කියන්නේ ලක්ෂයයි 100,000 plus 100,000 into 10%, right? Which is equal to I, right? अब මෙහෙම ගත්තොත් 100,000 මට එළියට ගන්න පුළුවන් මේ දෙකේම 100,000 common හන්දා 1 plus මෙතන ඉතුරු වෙනවා I. මේක තමයි future value. අපි එන අවුරුද්දේ වාට ගෙවන්නේ මෙන්න මේ. future value කියන්නේ අද මම ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන ගාන present value එක 1 plus I කියන එක තමයි තව අවුරුද්දකින් මෙතනට එන්නේ.
Excuse me, sir. Can you use the black color pen?
Okay, sure. We have 100,000 rupee investment, right? At the end of the first year, what we have our capital 100,000. Then we have interest for that 100,000 into I. I is the interest. This is our year 2 position, year 1 position, end of the year 1. අපි අවුරුද්ද මුලදී 100,000 ඩිපොසිට් එකක් දැම්මොත් අපිට අපේ 100,000 plus ඒකට ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක හම්බ වෙනවා. මේ දෙකේම 100,000 දින හන්දා අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් 100,000 1 plus I, right? ඒක තමයි අපිට this is what we will get after a year, that is future value, අනාගතේ ලැබෙන මුදල, right? Then this is the initial investment, we call it present value, 1 plus I, right? Future value equals 1 plus I. So කවුරු හරි ඇවිල්ලා අපිට අපේ deposit එකක් දුන්නොත් this is the equation. Give me 1 minute. මට කළු පෙන් දෙයක් විතර වෙනවා. පෙන් නැහැ තියෙන එක ලියවෙන්න. Give me 1 minute till they bring the pen, right? So this concept is very important because we are talking about future projects. Money today value something, and money what we will get in the future will value something else, right? So basically I will be doing this, but how we do it manually. But when you go to Excel, it is just dragging the formulas, right? I will teach you that as well, but you should know the basics behind the Excel formula. Otherwise, if you don't have Excel, you won't be able to do anything, right? You will know only PV and FP. What is behind that we will not know. So we will do the manual way, then we will go to Excel as well, right? End of the day, practically we are using Excel, but knowledge is more important to know the background of that, right? Future value is equal to present value, right? So if someone comes and asks you, okay, I am giving you 100,000, what will I get? This is the equation you need to use. Or they may ask you, this. That means I want 100,000 after 1 year. How much I need to invest today, right? This can be asked other way. This is future value. After 1 year, I want 100,000. Then you need to work out present value. How much you need to deposit today. This one gives you, if I give you 100,000, how much will I get after 1 year? Right? So these both equations are important in our day-to-day life, right? You have to excuse me for 2 minutes till they get the pens for me. Right? So, so now we are in the year 1. Then we have year 2 by 2. So whatever we get, we reinvest, right? What we got, initially we had 100,000, which is the year 01. Year 1 we have 100,000 plus 100,000 into I. Year 2, I'm going to invest the entire amount for year 2. Then I have 100,000 plus 100,000 I. This is my capital I'm going to invest, right? Then I will have 100,000 plus 100,000 I, which is the capital into I, right? This is the formula. I will reverse this. 100,000 so you can take this one out. I then one plus I. This can be written as 100,000 1 plus I. You take these two out into this one plus this 1 plus I. So, right, this is equals to 100,000 1 plus I to the power 2. Similarly, if you write the same equation for this is year 2, this year 2. If you write the formula for year 3, this is going to be 100,000 1 plus I to the power 3. If it is for year 4 by 3, 4, it is going to be 100,000 1 plus I to the power 4. Like that, number like you have initial investment, which is 100,000. First year will be 100,000 into 1 plus I, right? Second one would be 100,000 1 plus I to the power 2 year out of the 2 years, so it is 2. Third year it is 100,000 1 plus I to the power 3 years. Like that, it denotes the year, right? So we can write this equation this way. First year it is, so I'll write down. You have this y0, y1, y2, y3, right? So if we write these things together, 100,000 1 plus I to the power n. It denotes 1 to the power n, right? So we add up all things. We can write this one as present value 1 plus I to the power N. We add all these things. We call it sum. Okay. You can see this part. So future value of a cash flow, continuous cash flows, every year we are getting funds. So it is equal present value to the power 1.I to the power N. This is our formula for future value. Right? This is our formula for future value. That means this is very cumbersome for you. You have initial investment, we say R, right? At the end of the, you have a interest rate, investment rate of I. So at the end of the year 1, you will get R1, end of year 2, R2, R3, like that. You will get R or return, R denote return, number denote the year, right? R N. So we need to know what is the amount. You have a R, investment of R amount. After 5 years, what will be my income, right? So everything you need to add it up. So what we do, future value equals present value 1 plus I to the power N, right? This. We say, sorry, not 10. It is like this. So you have 100,000 rupees today. What will be if I am investing with 10% interest for 5 years? What is the value at the 5th year? So 100,000 into 1 plus I is 10% to 5. Right? This is the value of this year. My 100,000 will be what at this point? Right? This is the equation for that. Right? Similarly, this is future. Not today. I'm investing 100,000 today. But what will I get after 5 years? That is my question. 5N is 5. It can be 10, it can be 4, it can be 3, anything. We assume that whatever we get, we invest at the same rate. That is the assumption here. Right? This is future value of present day's investment. Is this clear? Future value of present day's investment. Today I am investing 100,000 rupees. After 4 years, what will be my amount? What will be my investment? We use this formula to calculate. Future value is future day. Present value is my 100,000 today. I is the interest rate. We assume we are paid 10% every year or 8% every year for the next 5 years or 6 years. This is number of years. Right? So this is the formula we use for that. Then now what we do, we have to work out the other way for our purpose. Our purpose is what? Our purpose is to see what is the present value of future cash flows. What I did was, what is the future value of today's money? Right? What we do in the investment appraisal, it is like this. We have an initial investment, Y0, we have an investment, right? Y1, you will have R1, Y2, you have R2, Y3, you have R3, like that. You have different returns, right? So what our requirement in investment appraisal is to know what is the present value of this R1. If I am getting, we assume a figure, 150 rupees, 150,000 at the end of the first year. What will be the today's value of this 150,000? Right? After second year, I will get 200,000. What will be the present value of that 200? I am going to bring that value to today's value. But other salary නෙමෙයි හම්බෙන්නේ අවුරුද්දකට පස්සේ ලක්ෂයකමාරක් හම්බෙනවා. හැබැයි ඒ ලක්ෂයකමාර කියන්නේ සල්ලි වශයෙන් value එක. හැබැයි ඒ ගාන අද මොකද්ද වටින්නේ? ඒ අවුරුද්දකට පස්සේ හම්බෙන ලක්ෂයකමාර අද වටින්නේ මොකද්ද කියන එක තමයි මම මෙතන හදාගන්නේ. එතකොට අවුරුදු දෙවෙනි අවුරුද්ද එකත් මම අදට ගේන්න ඕනේ. තුන්වෙනි අවුරුද්ද එකත් අදට ගේන්න ඕනේ. හතරවෙනි අවුරුද්ද එකත් අදට ගේන්න ඕනේ. මේක තමයි මගේ plan අවශ්‍යතාවය. R4. Right? So we in the investment appraisal, what we do, we bring all the future cash flows to today's value. Right? The equation we have is future value equals present value 1 plus I to the power n. This is the equation we have. In order to bring it to the present value, we have present value equals future value into 1 plus I to the power n. Right? මේක මෙහෙම තියලා මේක මේ පැත්තට දැම්මා. එච්චරයි මම කළේ. Nothing else. This is the formula we derived. අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලා හදපු formula එක ඒක තිබ්බේ මම මෙතන සල්ලියක් දැම්මොත් අවුරුද්දකට පස්සේ කීයක් වෙනවද? අවුරුදු දෙකකට පස්සේ කීයක් වෙනවද? තුනකට පස්සේ කීයක් වෙනවද? කියන එක තමයි මෙතනින් බැලුවේ. මෙතනදී අපි බලන්නේ ඉස්සරහා අපිට හම්බ වෙනවා කියන සල්ලි අදට ගත්තොත් ඒකේ වට ලක්ෂයකමාර මෙතනට එනකොට ලක්ෂයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අද ලක්ෂයක් තිබ්බොත් මම අවුරුද්දකට පස්සේ ලක්ෂයකමාරකින් කරන වැඩේ අද කරගන්න පුළුවන්. හරි? දැන් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට මීට අවුරුද්දකට උඩදී ඇමරිකානු ඔස්ට්‍රේලියන් ඩොලර් 1000ක් ගන්න රුපියල් 1,26,000ක් ගියා. අද ඔස්ට්‍රේලියන් ඩොලර් 1000ක් ගන්න 1,50,000ක් ගිහිල්ලා. මට මේ අද දෙනවයි කියන 1,50,000 අවුරුද්දකට උඩදී තිබ්බනම් මට ඇමරිකන් ඩොලර් ගන්න තිබ්බා. එතනදී අඩුයි. මේ වටිනාකම මෙතනට එනකොට ඒකේ වටිනාකම අඩු වෙනවා. යන්න මෙහෙට එනකොට වටිනාකම අඩු වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක මේ පැත්තට ගියා නම් මෙහෙට යනකොට අද තියෙන සල්ලිය අර වැල් පොලිය කියලා කියන්නේ. Interest on interest, right? This is, it accumulates this side. When it comes to this side, it reduces. See, this is less. When this portion is increasing, this portion starts increase with the number, right? To the power, this start increasing. So this value will come down. In this scenario, this increases with time, so future value increases. It is like this. Future value increases. Present value decreases with time. Time value. Sorry, value this way. Right? Present value, future value. Right? So this is the formula we have to use. This is the only formula we have to use. This other way, this one is called discounting factor. Right? This is called discounting factor. Right? I will write it again. Present value equals future value divided by 1 plus I to the power n. Right? This is n. So since we have several cash flows to bring to the front, we say sum of cash flows n equals 1 to capital N. We don't know what is the number of years, so we denote it as N. This is the equation to be used for bringing all the cash flows to present value. This formula works like this. I have 100,000, I have 175,000 here, I have 150,000 here, then I have 250,000 here. So I'm trying to bring everything here to the year zero's value. I will be getting first year's cash of 150, second year's cash of 200, third year's cash of 175, 150, 250. I want to see what will be the values bring back to today's value. I'm projecting this. If I receive all these things today, how much will I receive? Is it clear to you? Because this is very important concept. If it is not clear, I will repeat it. මට කියන්න ඔයගොල්ලන්ට clearද නැද්ද කියලා. I am fine to repeat.
It's clear, sir.
Okay, what about others? I need 50% of the class, please. Only 2 people. 3, 4. If it is not clear, I will tell you. Don't worry. Just say clear or not. Eight, 9. Okay. So I'm going, right? So we have these 2 formulas. Future value, that is future value, equals present value, that is what we have invested today, how it is growing, right? FD එකක් නම් කොහොමද grow වෙන්නේ කියන එක තමයි මෙතනින් බලන්නේ. මේකෙන් කරන්නේ අනාගතයේදී හම්බෙන සල්ලියක් අද වටිනාකම කීයද කියලා හොයන එක තමයි මේ formula එකෙන් කරන්නේ. What this formula does is, today I have this much money, how will it grow in the future? What this formula does is, I'm expecting this much money in the future. If I get it today, what will it be? 150,000 after 1 year. What is the value today? That is this one, right? So in a project, what we do, we will have several cash flows, 5, 6 year cash flow. So I'm going to bring everything to today's value. So I use this one, right? This is summation only. This indicate only summation. present value equals R1, 1 plus I to the power 1. R2, 1 plus I to the power 2. R3, 1 plus I to the power 3. Like that it goes to this. Then Rn, 1 plus I to the power n. Right? So we have several cash flows. Everything brought to today's value. So is the sum n equals 1 to capital N, future value n divided by 1 plus I to the power n. This is present value. Right? Eka tamai present value kiyala kiyanne. This equation. Okay? Then now I have brought everything here. You have something called investment. I need to do an investment. Today I have 50 million rupees in my hand. I am looking at water bottling plant and a pen manufacturing plant. Initial investment is 50 million rupees. So my initial investment is 50 million. I have to decide whether I'm going to invest in bottling plant or the pen plant, right? So bottling plant will have R1, R2, R3, R4 income. Then pen plant will have R-1, R-2, R-3, like that, different income. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring everything to today. It is using this formula. Then I need to look at what is net present value. That is present value minus initial investment. This is net present value, right? Net present value is I'm going to bring all the future cash flows to today and subtract the initial investment. Now everything is in today's value. Present value, all things are in today's value. I is today's value. Anyway, it is today I have to do the investment, right? So present value is future expected cash flows. I have brought it to today's value. I have given the time value of money. Then I subtract the initial investment. So in a project, if NPV is negative, NPV negative, what does that mean? Your initial investment is higher than all the future cash flows brought to today's value. So you don't accept that kind of project. Why should I invest in a project where even the future cash flows are not giving the value what I have invested today? මේ කියන්නේ ඉස්සරහ අනාගතයේ එන cash flows අද දවසට value එකට ගෙනල්ලා present value කියන්නේ. එතකොට මේ I කියන්නේ අද දවසේ මම invest කරන ප්‍රමාණය. එතකොට මට ඉදිරි අනාගතයේ හම්බෙන සල්ලි වල වටිනාකම අද දවසට ගෙනහම ඒකේ value එක අඩුයි නම් අද මගේ අතේ තියෙන 50 million වලට වැඩිය මම ඇයි මේ project එක කරන්නේ? මේක හැමතිස්සෙම අපි accept කරන්නේ NPV positive ඒවා විතරයි. ඒ කියන්නේ present value of future cash flows should be larger than the initial investment. ඒ projects විතරයි අපි consider කරන්නේ බාර ගන්න පුළුවන් projects කියලා. කොයි වෙලාවෙක හරි present value එක අඩුයි නම් initial investment එකට වැඩිය අපි ඒක ගන්නෙ නැහැ. We take only the projects where present value of future cash flows are larger than the initial investment. Why? Otherwise, we lose our money. I have 50 million. It is better I keep that 50 million with me than investing in a business, because I'm not getting any return for the investment I'm doing. So anywhere, any project where present value is smaller than the initial investment, that is NPV is negative, I'm not considering. If a project returns today present value larger than the initial investment, I will consider. And when I have to compare 2-3 projects where present value is positive, the largest present value project where NPV is highest is the best project, right? අපි ඉසි අනාගතයේ සල්ලි අදට ගේන්න ඕනේ. ගෙනල්ලා අද දවසේ ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එක අඩු කරන්න ඕනේ. අඩු කළාම අපිට නෙගටිව් ෆිගර් එකක් එනවා කියන්නේ අනාගතයේදී හම්බෙන සල්ලි වල අද වටිනාකම අපේ අද ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එකට වැඩි අඩුයි. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට මට මිලියන 50ක් අතේ තියෙනවා. ඒ මිලියන 50 තමයි මම ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන්නේ. ඉස්සරහ අනාගතයේදී එන සල්ලි ටික ඔක්කොම අද ගෙනහම මිලියන 45යි ඒකේ වටිනාකම. ඒ කියන්නේ මම මිලියන 5ක් ලොස් වෙනවා. ඒක හන්දා මම මේ වගේ ඒවා ගන්නෙ නැහැ. මම ඉතිරි අනාගතයේදී හම්බෙන සල්ලි ඔක්කොම ගෙනහම මිලියන 55යි. ඒ කියන්නේ මට ඉස්සර මේ සල්ලි ටික දැම්මට පස්සේ අවුරුදු 5කට පස්සේ මගේ සල්ලිත් හම්බෙලා තව 5 මිලියන් උත් වැඩිපුරක් හම්බෙලා. එහෙනම් ඒක හොඳ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකක්. මම ඒක ගන්නවා. තව ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකෙදි 50ක් ඉන්වෙස්ට් කළාම අද වැලියු එක ඉස්සරහා කෑෂ් ෆ්ලෝස් වල 60යි 10 මිලියන් වැඩිපුර ඇවිල්ලා. ඒ කියන්නේ 10 මිලියන් හම්බෙන එක හොඳයි 5 මිලියන් වලට වැඩිය. NPV highest project is the best project. Any project which has a NPV negative, we are not taking. Any project which has the highest NPV value, we are taking as the best project. We compare only positive NPV projects only. Negative NPV projects we ignore. Right? So this is all about present value of money or time value of money and net present value. Present value, like we will have different returns. We are going to bring everything to today's value. Then subtract the initial investment. This one, then it is called net present value. So we have 3 formulas. Future value equals present value into 1 plus I to the power n. ඒ කියන්නේ අද දාන සල්ලි අවුරුදු 5කට පස්සේ කීයද කියන එක තමයි මේකෙන් හොයන්නේ. මේක අනිත් පැත්තට වර්ක් අවුට් කළාම අවුරුදු 5කට පස්සේ හම්බෙන 5 මිලියන් අද වටිනාකම කීයද? Future value divided by 1 plus I to the power n. මේක පල්ලෙහාට ගෙනහම මේක එනවා. මෙන්න මේකට කියනවා discounting factor එක කියලා. This is the factor we call discounting factor. Present value equals future value into discounting factor. Right? එතකොට මේ formula එක use කරලා අපි අපේ projects වල future cash flows we are going to bring it to today's value using this formula. R1 we bring it here, R2 you bring it here, R3 you bring it here, R4 you bring it here. This is that formula. Right? So we add everything, we donate this sigma. Right? Fn plus you expand, you will get this formula. Right? This is the present value formula. Then you need to know what is the net present value. That is the difference between future cash flows and the initial investment. Right? If NPV is negative, we don't touch that kind of projects because it is better we are keeping our money in our hand than investing in a business. Right? Financial. Then where NPV is positive, that means present value of future cash flows are larger than initial investment, we consider. If you have several present positive projects where NPV is positive, the largest NPV project we take as the best project. Right? I have questions. normally in doing credit appraisal, how to define I rate? It is your cost of funds, right? You use the cost of funds to discount your weighted average cost of funds is used to discount your cash flows. Am I clear, Ravindra?
Okay, sir.
Right. Right. So let's go back to the handout. Any other questions? If no, I am going to the handout. Right. This is the same formula, future value, present value, 1 plus I to the power n. Future value, present value, cost of capital, that is the weighted average cost of capital. When you have several costs, that's why weighted average. N is period. Right? 1 divided by 1 plus I to the power I is the discounting factor. 1 divided by 1 plus I is the discounting factor. See this one, which I present value is 1 rupee, future value would be 1 plus I. If I invest today 1 rupee for 10% return, then it is 1 rupee and 10 cents after 1 year. Right? So these are the discounting factors, that is 1 divided by 1 plus I, that is 1 divided by 1.1, right? Second one is 1 divided by 1.1 to the power 2. Third one is 1 divided by 1.1 to the power 3. Fourth is 1 divided by 1.1 to the power 4, because I is 10. These are the discounting factors to be used when you are working on this. How you calculate these factors are, for that you need to know the discounting rate. 1 divided by 1 plus I. For first year it is 1 divided by 1.1. Second year 1 divided by 1.1 to the power 2. Then second one, third one, 1 divided by 1.1 to the power 3. Right? You can work out like that. For that, in order to work out, you need to know the formula. Right? So, okay. This is the net present value. You have a 100,000 in same working, 100,000 initial investment. This is the 100,000. First year, you get a cash flow of 45,000. Your discounting factor is this. So, the income you are getting after 1 year, if you convert it to today's value, it is only 40,905. So, after second year income, which is 40,000 multiplied by this factor, this is 33,000. Right? Like that, you can get. These are the future values. So, sorry. These are the future values of. These are the present values of future cash flows. This is the cash flow you were given. Make an අපිට දුන්න cash flow එක. මේක තමයි discounting factor එක. එතකොට present value එක මේ ටික. එතකොට මේ ටික ඔක්කොම එකව කළාම එන්නේ net present value එක. මේ තියෙන්නේ අද දවසට future cash flow එකේ value එක. මේ තියෙන්නේ අද දවසට invest කරන එක. ඒක negative. PV minus I. Right? මේ තියෙන්නේ profits. Right? So it is 34,380 profit. Sorry, 380 rupees. It is a positive figure. Right? When we go to second one, which is this. These are the cash flows, similar this. Then you multiply this, then you get the present value. You have 30,000, right? Earlier project, you have 34,000. Both are positive projects, so you can consider both, but project A has a larger net present value. I මෙතනදි කරන්නේ initial investment එක තියෙනවා ලක්ෂයක්. ඊට පස්සේ හැම අවුරුද්දෙම cash flow එක තියෙනවා 45000 40000 35000 50000යි. Factor එක හැදලා තියෙන්නේ 1 divided by 1 plus I to the power n කියන එකෙන්. ඒක 110ක් අරගෙන මේක හැදලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒක වැඩි කළාම තමයි අපිට පළවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ සල්ලි වල අද වටිනාකම 40000යි. දෙවැනි අවුරුද්දේ වටිනාකම 33000යි. තුන්වෙනි අවුරුද්දේ සල්ලි වල වටිනාකම 26000යි. 50000ක් අද වටිනාකම 34000යි. මේ ටික ඔක්කොම එකව ගලම් 34380ක් එනවා පොසිටිව් ෆිගර් එකක්. ඒ විදිහටම දෙවැනි ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකත් ඒ විදිහටම කළාම 30172ක් එනවා. දෙකම පොසිටිව් ෆිගර්ස් එකහන්ද ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් දෙකම හොඳ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට්ස්. හැබැයි 34000 වැඩි 30000ට වැඩිය ඒක හන්දා project A තමයි හොඳ project එක. Right? For both projects, net present value is positive. So both are good projects, but project A net present value NPV is larger than project B's NPV. So we consider project A on financial background. But when you want to talk about other things, we don't know what it, but currently I'm talking numerical and financial figures only. Then advantages and disadvantages of NPV, right? It consider time value of money. Yes, we have been talking this time value of money. What is the tomorrow's 1 rupee today value? Cash flows over the entire project life is considered. Earlier we considered only up to the time we get our money back, payback period. But here we consider entire lives, project lives cash flows. Take account of risk, longer periods and those things. Disadvantages are NPV calculation is not easy if you do it manually. Right? NPV difficult to calculate. NPV will not give correct decisions when project lives are unequal. One project is 5 years, another project is 8 years. NPV will not give the same results. So here projects need to be same life. 5 year, if it is 5 year, 5 year, 5 year, 5 year, 8 years, if it has to be 8-year projects, right? Project lives needs to be equal. So that is NPV. Right. Any questions on NPV? Any questions? තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් ඕන දෙයක් අහන්න, because we need to know what is NPV, how it is calculated. Getting the figure answer is different, knowledge is different. If you don't have a question, please let me know. Okay to go. ඒකටත් උත්තරයක් නැහැ. Are you there? What is happening? Two people answered. Always the same people answer. Okay, right? So we are done with NPV. We'll go to IRR. IRR, internal rate of return, right? IRR, internal rate of return. What does this mean? If you have net present value into this side, right? 0 net present value, positive NPV, this is negative NPV, right? This is interest rate, cost of, right? The rate at which NPV is equal to rate at which NPV equals 0. This one. This is IRR. IRR is the rate at which, the discounting rate at which NPV equals 0. Rate at which NPV is equal to 0. NPV can be positive figure here, negative figures here, right? This is this for this side, it is the discounting side. If you plot different projects, NPVs and right, the rate at which NPV is 0 is called IRR, right? For that, what does that IRR indicate? It does not indicate rupee value. It indicates the growth potential of a business. It has to be always above the cost of capital. Like if I am getting my cost of capital at 10%, my IRR should be always above the 10%. If it is below the 10%, it is not an acceptable thing. Larger the IRR, better the project. That means growth potential, growth rate indicated by IRR, right? This is how we do. So NPV, we have two ways of finding out this. First one, NPV equals 0 is the decision. So how NPV is calculated? Sigma n equals 1 to capital N, future value divided by 1 plus I to the power N minus I, right? Here what we want to do is to find out the value where NPV equals 0. I sent a handout, but Menaka is not there today, so it was not uploaded. I will give you next week for this, right? Where NPV is 0, we need to find I. When I was learning IRR long back years ago, we didn't have Excel those days, right? What we used to do was do a guesswork, put a interest rate here and calculate. We had to do it several times to find out where NPV is 0, right? So you can trial and error method, you can find this. That was the that's my young days. Then we have another thing. You can find out IRR using NPV ratio. You need to calculate NPV and work out the figure, right? So what we'll do, we have the cash flow. We know I. We have R1, R2, R3, like that we have this. We don't know the interest rate discounting factor. So we assume a discounting factor and find out a NPV which is positive but near 0. Then I will use another interest rate. These are assumptions. And I will work out again NPV where NPV is negative but near 0. Right? So I need to find out 2 NPVs and 2 interest rates where one NPV is positive near 0, one NPV is negative near 0. That is this NPV here and here near 0, right? For the rate I1, I2. These are the 2 points here. Using that, I will work out where IRR. The formula for that is I2 into I2 minus I1 divided by positive value plus negative value into into positive value. This is the formula for IRR. Can you see this? If I can remember the rate, I2 plus I2 minus I1, positive value of NPV plus value of the negative value NPV into positive value NPV value. This is the equation, right? So let me check on the formula. Okay, this is I1, right? This is I1. How it works is you have the NPV ratio, NPV calculation. You guess a interest rate. We say it is 10% interest rate. You put it to the calculation and find out the NPV. Right? We say it is 10% you have put. Right? So when you put the 10%, If your NPV is positive, you can take this value. You know I1, you know positive NPV, right? Now you need to find out a interest rate where NPV is negative. Since with 10 you got a positive, that you have to remember this graph. It is like this. You have to give a higher interest rate. We say I1 is 50, I2. You put 15%, right? 50. Again, you will get NPV positive. Then you don't need to use this. That means you need to go further. Now you put I3, which is 20%. Then you get a negative NPV. So you can use this one and this one, I2 value and I3 value. At least you need to work out 3 NPVs in this calculation. If you are lucky, within 2 you will get. First you guess the interest rate and just apply that interest rate to the NPV formula and find NPV. If you get a positive NPV, you increase your discounting rate. If you use 10, use it 15. If you get a negative NPV, net present value, with 15, because higher the interest rate, NPV goes down. This is the equation, right? So you put 15. If you get a negative, you are good. You can use the two interest rates and 2 values and calculate. If you get a positive, you have to further increase the interest rate. Not interest rate, right? So then you put 20. If you get positive, you are unlucky. If you get negative, you are lucky. You can use the I2 and I3 figures as I1 and I2 here, right? So similarly, you put 15%. Then you will get a NPV negative. Negative NPV for 15%. Right? That means you are here. Right? Somewhere here. So you need to go back. So second one, you have to give a lower I value. If on the first go, if you get a positive, you need to increase the rate. On the first go, you get a negative, you have to decrease the rate. Think about this graph. Negative means you are here, NPV is here. Now you want to find a positive. So you need to reduce the interest rate. Positive means you are here, NPV is here, you have to find the figure from this side. So you have to increase. That combination you will have to work. Once you know the interest rate where NPV is positive and you find the interest rate again where NPV is negative. That is I1 and I2. I1 plus I2 minus I1 divided by present positive value NPV value and negative value NPV. Negative value, you forget about the negative, only take the value, right? Value into positive value. This is the equation for IRR. Is the equation for IRR, right? So you need to work out NPV twice. First you guess a thing, apply to NPV formula and find out the NPV value. If it is positive, increase your I value and find a NPV. If it is negative, you are good, you are lucky. If it is positive, you have to further increase. Because you need 2 values, one where NPV is positive, second one where NPV is negative. So you have to use both. When you guess at the first instance and put the value, you get a negative, that means you have to come back. You reduce your this. Think about the graph, right? Draw this graph. It is not in the handout, right? Draw the graph, right? Then you know, you need to know two discounting factors, two rates, one with positive NPV, other with the negative NPV. When we know these two, you can use this formula and calculate the IRR. IRR is the growth rate expected, right? Let us go to the handout. This is the formula. It has gone everywhere, right? It is like this: I1 plus I2 minus I1 divided by present value of the NPV plus negative value, not the present value, positive value NPV plus absolute value of the negative NPV, right? Again, negative sign එක නැතුව value එක විතරක් ගන්නවා. Positive එක හැමම ගත්තා, negative එකේ negative කියලා ගන්නෑ, value එක විතර. Minus 2500 නම් 2500 තමයි ගන්න. If it is minus 2500, we use 2500. Forget about minus. Multiplied by the whole thing. This part has to come in this into present value. Sorry, not present value, positive value, right? This is the formula you have to use. See this one, IRR calculation. You work on this. Next week, I will have a brush up few minutes on this, right? So you assume a interest rate of 20%. This is the discounting factor, which is 1 divided by 1.2 for the first year, 1 divided by 1.2, second year 1 divided by 1.2 to the power 2, third year 1 divided by 1.2 to the power 3, like that. This is the discounting factor, multiply it and you add. So now it is 20, when you talk about 20%, you get a NPV of 9,645. Then what we do? We increase. Why? You got a positive figure. You increase. You increase it to 30. When you increase it to 30, it is 30. You can't see it. 30. Can you see? It is 30 here. Right? When you increase it to 30, 1 divided by 1.3, this is the factor, 1 divided by 1.3 into 2, this, 3, this, 4, this, and these are. So now you get a negative figure, right? Earlier you got at 20, you got positive figure, now you get a negative figure, right? Similarly, B20, you get a positive figure. 25, you get a negative figure. When you use that formula, IRR for project A is 25, project B is 22. So, project A is better than project B, right? So, what you do is use the NPV formula, guess a discounting rate, calculate the NPV, find out a positive value and a negative value, use this formula and find out IRR. Wherever IRR is higher, that is the best formula. right? Here the problem is we assume that whatever the money we get, we will be reinvesting at the same rate, right? IRR. So advantages is consider time value of money, cash flows over. It is similar to the NPV calculation. Decision when the lives are IRR difficult to calculate. This is the same thing, right? Okay, that's it from me for today. Any questions? Next week, I will brush up this again and we will see how the Excel works also, and we will proceed on the appraisal part, right? Any questions from today's work?